Motherhood doesn't pause when you're going through healing and when life is lifing.
This is me becoming her. This is me becoming her. Yeah, unapologetic.
Welcome back to Becoming Her, episode 7. Episode 7, get your mug, get whatever you're sipping on, and let's chat. You don't really need your journal for this one. You might need some tissue, honestly. As many of us know, motherhood or life doesn't pause when you're going through things, when you're healing, when you're trying to process your own feelings as a woman and as an adult. One of the hardest parts of the season that I was just in was explaining it all to my daughters. Like, thank God they are old enough to understand and comprehend, and they experienced what was happening in the household, so they weren't oblivious to what was going on. However, I think you do yourself and your children a disjustice when you're not open and honest. Now, obviously, age appropriately, but I think it's healthy. I think it was beneficial to me and my life. And I felt like I owed that to my daughters, being as though I exposed them to someone and something that I wasn't expecting, and that wasn't what I presented to them what it was going to be. So what does the season look like, right? And a lot of this will be just reflection on the last year or so when all the things was happening. It really still looks like still picking up and dropping off, still cooking dinner, still answering questions about things that's going on with them, still listening to their little gossip and tea with their friends, still doing the things while I'm falling apart. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the things that you have to go through, not only as a woman, then you add mom on top of it. I got to still keep up this show while I'm literally crying in a room, crying in the shower, crying in the car, trying to process my own feelings, right? So here I am, still keeping a smile on at parent-teacher conferences on Zoom, dropping and picking off to dance and track, still planning birthday parties, still doing all the things. And I just be like, as women, how do we do it, y'all? Like, I'm asking y'all, how do we do it? Like, how? Like, I know there's no real answer because we just do it, right? We just do it. But it's just so amazing how when I just look back at the sorry, I was going to karaoke, like, which is a good thing. But I'm just like, when it comes to my kids, like, I was really just moving and shaking, like, all this wasn't going on. So I wanted to talk to them, obviously, not scare them, not give them a bad idea of relationships or whatever not working out, but like give them like a real talk. You know what I mean? Being though they're older teenagers, like I didn't have to sugarcoat but so much. And like I said, they saw what they saw. You know what I mean? And experience what they experienced. So I didn't have to say a whole lot, but I did want them to, have a balanced idea and perception of the situation. You know what I mean? For themselves in the future and how they handle relationships. Okay, it was like I wanted to give them honesty without them having a negative connotation or idea of a relationship. I didn't want them to think like that's how all of them are. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like I took a second, although we spoke very soon after things or while things were going on, but like to really sit down and have a like deep conversation, I just wanted to think about it a little bit more because even for me, like I know that there's plenty of examples of how this could go positively. So I just wanted to make sure they understood like this is not how it always is. This isn't always, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was focusing on. Like I still wanted them to understand like there's still love and positivity and like this isn't the only example. And they've seen other examples. So, okay, so first, and this is my suggestion to anybody that's going through a transition period where there's kids involved, is shifting the communication, especially with teenage girls, okay? And boys, right? Especially if they're in the home and they're seeing like the dynamic shift. I think this is healthy. This is just what I found worked for us, I think. Because there's no manual for this shit. There's no manual for it. So I wanted to explain the change without blaming the other person. You know what I mean? Or like it all being their fault. I just want to take accountability for my part, recognize whatever they were telling me, okay? Because I still have to acknowledge their feelings in this, right? I had to let them be real with me and tell me what they, felt. And I had to take accountability on some aspects of it. And like I kind of said in previous videos, that, I wasn't very fairy tale land, whatever, at the beginning stages, because I just had this ideal of this blended family that I just thought was going to happen. But I really had to take accountability for exposing them to it. And this was something that those first couple months of me finding clarity and understanding what was going on and all that in the fall, was I had to let go of blaming myself for the whole thing of it, because I just kept thinking like, oh my gosh, my kids now have this experience, you know what I mean? And it's my fault. Like, I literally had to, like, you know what I mean, take some of it off of my shoulders. Like, you know, this is life. Like, you didn't put them in harm's way. You know, like, I didn't do anything maliciously to be like, I'm gonna just let them experience this, man. You know what I mean? Like, that was never the intent. And I don't believe that that person was malicious, or like he just wasn't the right fit to be a part of my children's life, period. And I really had to say to them several times, like, I know this is hard. I know it's probably hard for you to see me kind of in a, but we'll be okay. Like, you know, I never am a person that's like, when it rains, it pours, and then. You know, I really do. The mantra, life be lifing, is true, because life is just going to consistently life, right? But like, I'm never like a, like, no, I knew that we were going to get through it. Like, I knew it. I felt it. I could see ahead. I just had to get through the crazy emotions that I was feeling, but also be mindful of theirs. Even to this day, they still bring up little memories or like moments that they want to share. And I have to catch myself, because I instantly want to be like, okay. But I'm like, no, because that's their way of processing it. It's speaking about it and talking about how they felt during the experience. One of the things, even as, you know, much as me and my oldest get on each other's nerves, like, her emotions through it probably hit me the hardest. She was really disappointed, because she just had, similar to me, like, had thoughts and was sold a dream on what we thought it was going to be. And I think she was excited for it, excited for change, excited for like an upgrade to some extent in some ways in life. And it didn't happen that way. One of the other things was, I think I had to let them know that, like, my feelings are my feelings, and I don't want y'all to hold, you know, take on my, you know, stress or worry or sadness. It was really more sadness onto them, and y'all be like that. You know what I mean? So I had to explain that to them, like, you know, don't take on this. This is mommy. I'll be okay. Like, I'm gonna be okay. Y'all gonna be okay. Y'all go through your emotions with your own emotions. I don't need you to add my, you know what I mean? But I think they also ride for their mother. You know what I'm saying? Similar to how I was growing up with my mom. So I also understood that, but I didn't want them to be like walking around with, you know, the weight of my ish on their shoulders. I had to make room for their emotions. I had to make room for them making little comments, getting it off their chest. And it wasn't always easy, because I often at the beginning of all this felt myself getting defensive, because I didn't, like I said, I feel like I didn't want them to think that I would purposely put them in any harm's way or any intentional bad vibes, or like, you know what I mean, put them around somebody that I wouldn't think would be there for them. So I had to let them be confused, sad, mad, make jokes, whatever about it all. I had to let them do them. And I had to not rush their process. Similar how I had to not rush mine, just because, you know, for me, I feel like a lot of people in my life, you know, want to be supportive, but they want me to, you know, not be mad or sad over that person because they know I deserve more. But you can't help the process. Like, no matter what a person does to you, you have to let go of what you thought your future was going to be. You have to let go of the idea of who you thought this person was. And I had to get through that. And I cried because it took me a second to like figure out or recognize, like, that person was never going to be enough. And I was never going to be enough for them. And the moment that snapped, like, you know what I mean? And who they are, they showed me who they were repeatedly. And I still just wanted this like other thing and this other person. And that just wasn't going to happen. So again, I had to let myself feel the feels and let the girls feel their feels. So some of the other lessons with going through all of this, and of course therapy and doing the Becoming Her, has helped me, I think, even become a little bit more emotionally mature. I always felt like I was, but like now I ain't perfect. and I'm about to give you an example. So how I know that I've grown is because it was the other day, and I thought I had handed my youngest some fries or did something, and I thought she took mine, and I snapped at her. And then she was like, they were right there. And then I said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you. And there's been little moments like that where, like, and that sounded small, but it's like other things that have happened. And I've reacted quick because I was annoyed or whatever and already in my feelings. And then I apologize. And that comes with emotional maturity. Even my girls, I even, like, when they're kind of snappy, I'll give them a second to breathe. And then I'll go back to them and be like, what's wrong with you? Or what are you going through? Or do you need to talk or whatever? And they'll eventually, you know, say, like, you were asking me too many questions. You were saying too much and it was overwhelming me or overstimulated and all those things. So I feel like emotional maturity as an adult reflects in your kids. You know what I mean? And then they can articulate how they're feeling a little bit better. And like I said, when you're going through transitions in your household, I think it's healthy to talk about when you're mad, sad, happy, angry, whatever with each other. And I do think I've become a little bit more patient in like communicating anger more or irritableness or irritating. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like this, especially as a mom of two girls. I'm not raising just to be women in society, okay? I want them to be emotionally available. I want them to be very aware of the things and all the signs, and not just to be pointing out other people's issues or whatever it may be, but to acknowledge them within themselves. So like I said, yes, you can feel all the feels, but you don't have to dump them on others or reflect how you're feeling and treat people some type of way. You know what I mean? If you're not in the mood to deal with humans or other people, then go sit down. Go sit down. And I found myself doing kind of the opposite a little bit. I needed my people during my transition time, and I really needed them. And they probably don't even realize, like I kind of told y'all, having my room back to myself and allowing them to feel comfortable and safe to come back into my space, and then like coming in my room and checking on me and stuff like that, like those first couple months like meant so much. Like so much. And they're probably gonna see this one day and be like, oh my God, mommy. But like, I value my daughters in our friendship, our relationship, growing friendship, because they're becoming young women. And there are little conversations and them coming in my room and, like I said, checking on me meant so much. It meant so much to me. And I didn't even realize it, how much a part of this process they have been for me. Like, honestly, we already were really close, but this situation has really gotten us closer. They've been like so supportive of me being a creator. They've been supportive of this whole experience. They film for me. Like, they get on my nerves sometimes. Like, they get on my nerves. They always want their hair done. They always want Chick-fil-A. They always want a seafood boil. But I'm telling you, it's important to let your kids know how they do for you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's because we do everything, right? But let them know when they're doing good to you. So, like, I've told them, like, you know, I appreciate, you know, when y'all do stuff or whatever. But, like, they don't know it yet. But when they see this, they will. But October and November, when they used to come in my room and just check on me, meant a lot. Like, a lot. Okay, we're done. All right, I already felt guilt, okay? Just being a single mom, a working mom, and living in this world or whatever. You already feel that guilt a little bit. Like, as active and as involved as I am, you just naturally feel it. You feel like, am I doing enough? Is there something I'm missing? Like, you know, like you always want to you always compare kind of to parents, to kids who have a two-parent household, which we all know doesn't always mean anything. But I'm just saying, like, you already have a slight guilt. Then you add our situation of this idea of this blended family that I thought we were going to have, and our lives were going to be a little different. Then you add a different level of guilt. Guilt added with disappointment. But the guilt, I feel like through the growth, made me realize it kind of went from guilt to like disappointment, and I was able to process it a little bit better. I don't feel like I have guilt anymore, but I think it comes along with because I feel like I try to communicate with them so much through all of it. So showing up while still processing life, still healing, still going through all the things. I still got to be a mom. I still got to make doctor's appointments. I still got to pick up, drop off, give advice, do all the things, cook dinner. Life's just still going life. And that's just my encouragement. I know people be saying to me like, Lisa, I don't know how you not balled up in a curl or whatever. And I'm just like, I just can't. I don't want them to see that being maybe a day. You get a day, okay, or whatever. But like for me, I'm saying that's for me. I want them to see that you can process your emotions and you don't have to sit in it in a sense where it cripples you. You know what I mean? That's for me how I would like to raise my daughters, like to acknowledge your feelings, process your feelings. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be balled up in a curl. What is it saying? balled up in a roll, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't believe in letting it take over your whole world. And I know some people mentally don't have control over that, but they do at this point, and I just didn't want them to think that that space is where we would stay. What does motherhood look like for me now? Well, I have a almost senior, I have an 8th grader. I feel good about where we are in our relationship. We have open communication. We laugh a lot. They are expensive, in my opinion, okay? More awareness on emotions, friendships, relationships. We just having a lot more conversations. I'm very aware and having conversations about preparing them for adulthood. And I think it's important that my girls are seeing me choose me. I think it's important that my girls are seeing me choose me. Okay? Because you can't be good to them if you're not good to yourself, period. And that goes for a man, a woman, whatever. If you can't choose you first and pour into you, you're not going to be able to fill their cup and do for them. You're just not. They always had a great mother, but now I feel like they have a full mother, right? I feel like they have a more intentional mom, a happier mom, a more at peace mom, a just more aware, emotionally aware mom. And I'm excited to see them grow. I am cringing at them finally seeing this video, whatever they do, but I'm excited that I got this off. We have one more episode to go, and I hope that y'all follow me through to the next one. And this Becoming Her don't stop at episode 8, okay? We keeping it going. There's going to be other evolutions to Becoming Her. We have Clarity and Coffee coming up. We still have Honoring Us for Black History Month, and more to come. And I just really appreciate y'all supporting me through this, because this has been a journey, and I'm glad I did it. I was nervous because I was like, oh, everybody gonna know stuff, but as y'all see, you share what you want to share, and I hope it has helped anybody get through whatever seasons that they're in, or a little bit of advice, whatever, okay? But thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the final episode, episode 8. Cheers to us.
Yeah, unapologetic. Watch